Let's continue with our activities on page 53. In this part, we're going to check vocabulary in picture. So, we're going to remember about the environment and prefixes. Just pay attention, listen, and repeat. The environment. Compost food scraps. Install solar panels. Insulate windows. Metal cloth. Recycle packaging. Ride a bike. Save water. Share car journeys. Travel by public transportation. Turn on flights. Use rechargeable batteries. Okay, this is about the environment. Now, what about prefixes? Okay, this vocabulary number 2 about prefixes. Like for example, misinform, misplace, misunderstand, overcrowd, overeat, overpopulate, recycle, reorganize, replace, replay, undercook, underestimate, underpay, underuse. This has been our vocabulary, okay? Vocabulary in picture. So, if you don't remember, you can practice here. Now let's continue with the next part. In the next part, that is on page 54, I'm so sorry, 54, we have grammar guide. No? In this grammar guide, we can see the present perfect, no? Affirmative, negative, and questions. No? For example, I have ridden a bike, or you have ridden a bike. He, she, or it has. Be careful, okay? He has ridden a bike, she has ridden a bike, or it has ridden a bike. We, you, and they have. We have ridden a bike, you have ridden a bike, or they have ridden a bike. Negative sentences. In affirmative, you say have or has. In negative, you say haven't or hasn't. I haven't ridden a bike. No, it's negative. You haven't ridden a bike. He hasn't ridden a bike. She hasn't ridden a bike. It hasn't ridden a bike. Let's continue with we, you, and they. We haven't ridden a bike. You haven't ridden a bike. And they haven't ridden a bike. And finally, we have questions. No? In questions, you just change position between the auxiliary and the pronoun. Have you ridden a bike? Yes, I have. Or no, I haven't. That's the answer. Okay? Yes, I have. No, I haven't. Well, if there were a different one, for example, has he ridden a bike? Yes, he has. No, he hasn't. Or have they ridden a bike? Yes, they have. No, they haven't. Now, in this part, we're going to use for since and how long. Let's remember, when we use how long, it's special for questions. How long have you lived in Boston? And we use how long to ask about the duration of an event or situation. No? So in this case, you can tell me the time. No? Next, I've lived in Boston for 2 years. We use for with a period of time. For 2 years, for 10 years, for 1 year, for 1 month, for 1 week, for 2 hours, for 2 minutes. That's the idea when you use for. I live in Boston since 2015. No, I've lived in Boston since 2015. We use since with a point in time. No, you specify when you started. In 2015, in 2010, in 1999. That's the idea. Here, for example, we have sometime expression for and since. I told you for 5 minutes, for 5 hours, for 3 days, for 3 weeks, for a month, for a year, for a long time. Since 2015, since 5 p.m., since January, since this afternoon, since I was born, since Friday, since last week. No? So what you have to do is replace this part. No? Here says since 2015, since 5 p.m., since January, since this afternoon. No? For 2 years, for 5 minutes, for 5 hours, etc. And in the second part we have still, yet, already, and just. No? For example, when I use still, it's with negative sentences. No? For example, I still haven't recycled the plastic bottles. No? Remember, between the pronoun and the auxiliary, still. We use still and yet in negative sentences. Still and yet. He hasn't made his shoes yet. Both mean negative sentences. The difference, yet, is at the end and still between the pronoun and the auxiliary. Also, yet is used in questions. Has he made his old clothes yet? Or has he made his shoes yet? We use yet in questions to ask if something has been done. Okay? We've already bought rechargeable batteries. We've already bought. We use already in affirmative sentences to talk about things we have done. No? Remember, when we use already, it means that the activity, you did the activity before, no? Or maybe many times. Paul has just left the house. What does it mean? We use just to talk about things we've done in a short time before a moment of speaking. It's like, for example, just a few seconds ago, 5 minutes ago, you use just, no? In the case of already, remember, you did the activity. Well, class, this is being our page 44, 44. So the idea is to get ready because you, boys and girls, are going to take a test about these activities, now about vocabulary, about grammar. So try to get ready, and that's all for now. Thank you very much. Bye bye. See you in class.